you all so much for joining us today for our virtual information session on the MFA in Studio Art. My name is Anna Chapa. I'm a senior graduate student recruiter. Joining me today and presenting on the program itself is Professor D.M. Whitman. How are you doing today, Professor Whitman?
Terrific. Thanks, Anna.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. Now, just a few housekeeping rules before we get started. During this webinar presentation, you will not have the option to unmute yourself. You can, however, submit your questions through the questions box on the side. You'll see a little tab that says questions. You can submit your questions through there, and we'll be answering them throughout through chat, and we can also take questions at the end of the presentation. We will be sending out a recording of this presentation as well to your email. So while we do encourage you to take notes or take screenshots of any slides that you want to make note of, don't worry if you miss something, we will be sending you a recording. And with that said, let's go ahead and get started. So today we will be sharing with you a little bit about UTRGV, about why UTRGV may be a good fit for you as you pursue your graduate education. We're going to talk to you about our MFA program in art and why that program might be a good fit for you as you continue your studies. We're going to talk to you about the application process, funding opportunities, and we will take your questions as well. Now, UTRGV has 97 years of storied educational history. Although UTRGV itself was established in 2015, our history goes all the way back to our legacy institutions, Edinburgh College and University of Texas Brownsville. Edinburgh College was founded in 1927, or Edinburgh College, sorry, which then became University of Texas Pan American. You know, our history goes all the way back to 1927, and we carry that legacy with us. And we've actually just reached our 10-year anniversary as UTRGV. So we're very, very excited about that and excited about everything that's been accomplished in just 10 years. We have a growing graduate student body, and you can pursue your graduate education at UTRGV with peace of mind, knowing that we are accredited by SAC-COC. Something that we are very proud of is our rankings and recognitions that we've received. We are consistently ranking very competitively in terms of cost and value for our students. We were ranked #1 in Texas for lowest net price by Washington Monthly and top 10 best online colleges in Texas in 2021. And the one that we're really, really excited about that is the most recent is we've been ranked #1 university in Texas by Washington Monthly for the last 3 years. Now, if you want to learn more about the methodologies used for those rankings, you can visit the rankings page, and I'm dropping that link in the chat for everyone if you want to visit that. Now, when you pursue a graduate program at UTRGV, there are different modalities that you can pursue your programs in. For the program that we are discussing today, this is a traditional program that is primarily on campus, correct, Professor Whitman, with maybe some classes available online. This program runs on the 16-week long semesters. Full-time enrollment as a graduate student in a master's program is going to be 9 credit hours per semester, which is typically about 3 classes per semester. And MFA programs are typically completed in 3 years plus 1 summer term. And the application process is fairly straightforward. We have some general application materials and requirements on screen, but I know Professor Whitman is going to go into more detail on the specific requirements for this program. But the application is completed entirely online. There is no cost for applying to this program at this time. So it's a great time to apply, submit an application. And again, you don't have to worry about coming in person to submit anything. Everything is done 100% online. We will ask that you submit your academic transcripts. If we, by any chance, have any former UTRGV students in the room today, you actually don't have to worry about submitting your transcripts. If you list that UTRGV is the university where you completed your undergraduate degree, we will add those transcripts for you. So that's just one less thing that you have to worry about. And on screen, we also have the application deadline for the next admission term, which is fall 2026. The application deadline is February 15th, and the application is currently open. So if you haven't started your application yet, after this presentation, you can go ahead and visit our Grad Apply page, which again, I'm dropping in the chat for everyone, and you can start your application. Don't worry if you don't have everything ready yet to submit the application. I always encourage you, if you are thinking that you want to be applying for this upcoming fall 2026 term, at least start your application, because once you start your application, you're going to go into our system and we're going to be able to track your progress and to reach out to you in case you need any support or guidance. And we can send you reminders so you don't miss the deadline. So it's always a good idea to at least get started, right? Take that first step, which is often the hardest thing to do, to just get started. So get that out of the way, and then everything else will be much easier. And just to give you an idea of what the application page will look like, you're going to see an apply now link and a login link. You can disregard the terms that you see on screen, but essentially, if you've never started an application, a graduate application with us, you're going to use the apply now. If you have previously created an application, you're going to use the login link to continue your application or to check the status of your application. Now, something that is very important to consider when you are looking into graduate school is cost, right? And like I mentioned, UTRGV is consistently ranking very competitively when it comes to cost. On screen, you'll see the estimated cost per a 3 credit hour course and for a full-time semester of 9 credit hours for our Texas residents and for our out-of-state or international students. So again, very, very competitive in terms of cost. And once we've looked at cost, we can talk about funding, right? So as a UTRGV student, you are going to have several options for funding your graduate education. The first one, of course, if you are eligible for federal financial aid, you can submit that FAFSA application at studentaid.gov. Keep in mind that you will have to meet certain eligibility requirements. The first one is you need to be clearly admitted into your program. What that means is that you need to meet all of the admissions requirements, all of the minimum admissions requirements set by, in this case, the art program, right? So your GPA needs to be at least at a 3.0, and every other requirement that the art program has outlined needs to meet the minimum. You need to be enrolled in actually 6 credit hours per semester. I apologize for that. So that should read 6 credit hours per semester, which is full-time enrollment in order to qualify for financial aid. And just something to note, certificate programs do not qualify for financial aid. You do need to be enrolled in a full degree seeking program. Another way that you can fund your graduate education is through scholarships, and there are 2 different ways that you can find scholarships as a UTRGV student. First one is Apply Scholarships, and then the next one is our grad scholarships. And I apologize for my voice, so these 2 places, these 2 spots here that I've placed in the chat are 2 different places where you can find scholarships. The first one is our general scholarships portal. Essentially, you fill out a profile, and then the portal will match you to all of the different scholarships that you might be eligible to apply for. So it's a 2-step process at least, where you fill out your profile. Once you get your matches, you have to actually go back in and apply to each individual scholarship that you're interested in. But it at least does the work of narrowing down the possibilities, right, or the options that you're eligible for.
Hey, Anna, do you want to go back to that last slide? I didn't mean
yes.
You, but just I also wanted to point out that if you do receive any scholarship, and sometimes the School of Art and Design is able to offer a small scholarship, if you are an out-of-state resident, as soon as you get any scholarship, you are then eligible for in-state tuition. So I think, you know, that so you can see that there for the 3 credit course, right? 1649, and then that's 4338 for a Texas resident. Anyway, so it's like almost half the cost. So if any scholarship will allow that in-state tuition to kick in.
Yes, that's a great point. So any competitive scholarship of $1,000 or more will allow you to qualify for that in-state tuition. Thank you for bringing that up, Professor Whitman. So that applies, you know, if whether it's a scholarship that's awarded to you through the program itself, or it's a scholarship that you maybe are awarded through the Apply Scholarships portal, as long as it is a competitive scholarship, which means you have to apply to it, right, and meets certain eligibility criteria, in like a merit, right, scholarship. The grad scholarships page is where we post all of our scholarships that are specifically for graduate students and that are awarded through our scholarships office. So good idea to look at both of these places for scholarship opportunities. The next option for funding your graduate education is going to be through assistantships. And there are different types of assistantships. There are 2 actually that also can make you eligible for that in-state tuition waiver if you are an out-of-state or international student. That would be a research assistantship or a teaching assistantship. So if that's something that you're interested in, if you are thinking, okay, it would really help me to qualify for an in-state tuition waiver, look for research assistantships or teaching assistantship opportunities at that careers page that you see on screen. There is a third assistantship type, which is more of an administrative position or administrative assistantship, which can also be really great, especially if you are in a position where you don't need that in-state tuition waiver. Because sometimes if the research or teaching assistantship opportunities are limited in your field or in your department, these administrative assistantships can allow you to branch out to other departments and do administrative work and receive a stipend for that work. So just something to keep in mind. And then lastly, we have payment plans, which are installment plans. You can make monthly payments throughout the semester to pay for your semester tuition. We also have emergency loans where you get an extension on your tuition payment deadline. If you qualify for veteran benefits, we can connect you with our Veteran Success Center and our financial aid office to make sure that all of your paperwork and your benefits are awarded on time. And if your employer offers any kind of tuition credit or tuition reimbursement, you definitely want to get with your benefits office to make sure that you are taking advantage of all of those opportunities. And with that said, I'll go ahead and give the floor to Professor Whitman. Would you like to share your screen, Professor Whitman, or do you want to just take control?
Can I take control of the slides of what you have, or do I need to?
Yeah, you should be able to, I just gave you control, so you should be able to control the slides now.
Okay, great. Not yet.
Okay, let's see, maybe I might have to make you presenter, so if you are able to share your screen, we can do that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay,
I'm ready.
Perfect.
Okay, are we able to see my screen? Or are you able to see the presentation?
Let me see. 1 second. Okay, I think we can. If anyone is having any trouble seeing, just let us know in the chat. But I think we're good.
Okay, so I'm just gonna skip ahead here. So in terms of the School of Art and Design at UTRGV, Dr. Pizzinato is the current director. Professor Lilia Cabrera is our associate dean and our undergraduate advisor, and I am the associate director as well as the School of Art graduate program director. So a couple of different hats here. Looking at, I'll just go over some, I'm going to go over some basics and get more into the specifics. So again, you can be enrolled in our program in a full-time or part-time capacity. Full-time is typically 9 credits a semester. It takes 3 years, so 3 years, that's 6 semesters, plus an extra class, 2 classes in those semesters or a summer. You can get funding for those summers as well. And as a part-time student, it means enrolling in a minimum of 1 course a term, and then you have up to 7 years to complete the degree. And so you might be asking yourself, what kind of career opportunities are available for someone with an MFA in studio art? Some people are interested in really developing their creative practice. They want to be better artists. They want to be able to talk better about their art. They want to understand where they fit in the art world. You might decide that you're interested in teaching at a college or a university, and the MFA is the terminal degree to teach studio art. It's also, if you're an existing teacher, the degree will allow you that extra pay bump that you might be after. And you might also be interested in working in being a curator, or maybe using it to further your education to get into restoration or conservation. You might want to be a registrar at an arts organization or a museum, or even open up your own community art space or gallery. These are all possibilities with an MFA. Here's just the catalog description in terms of just understanding, what the program describes, and then the admission requirements. What we're really interested in is the statement of you sharing with us why you're interested in an MFA. What do you hope to do? And also 20 digital images or the web address of an online portfolio. And these should highlight, so if you're coming in and you want to concentrate in 2D and be a painter, then it'd be great if you could share if most of that 20 images were of your paintings. Each student, should they be admitted, is evaluated twice a semester. The first is a midterm, what we call open studios, where we invite everyone from the community, friends, family, faculty from other schools to come in and just visit with grads in their studios to see what's going on, what they're up to. There's also an end of term more formal review, where students will show what they've been up to for the semester to the faculty body. We also have a 24-hour review, or at the end of your first year review, where we are sort of determining what kind of progress you're making. And we also do require an exhibition and a thesis. You take these in your final year, in your final semester, I should say, where you have an exhibition of your work, and you also have a written thesis that is published. Here's some of our faculty. Some of our folks we still don't have pictures on the website. These are our folks who are on our MFA committee, but we do have many more faculty. And you can check out our School of Art and Design faculty page to see we have over 50 faculty currently teaching here.
Professor Whitman, I think we may have lost the image. I don't know if you want to try right-clicking on the share my screen.
Okay. Let's see. Oops, hold on. Seems to be, I'm just It is giving me an issue here. I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know that I'm gonna be able to do that right now. So if you want to go back to, you can take control back over if you can't see my
Okay.
slide. I can make you presenter and I can just narrate that.
Okay, perfect. You can do that.
Okay.
Let's see.
I'm just handing it back over to you.
Okay, there we go. Let me know which
Okay.
slide.
So we want to go to faculty. So it's probably like slide 19, maybe. Here we go. So just some of our faculty. Again, we have over 50 faculty who do teach here in the School of Art and Design. It is a fairly large school. Next slide. You can go to the next one if you could. Yeah. So I'll show you some work by our from some of our faculty. This is Professor Palacios. She's our a painting faculty member. Deals very much with borderland issues, Mexican American identity and such. And next slide. I work primarily with photographic materials and installation, some video, and I deal with primarily climate issues. Next slide. Professor Lyles is also a painter and loves to share paintings of the valley. Go ahead. Tim Gontroff is in our 3D area, and he's right now is working on issues surrounding plant species, a particular native invasive reed. He also worked with textiles and dyeing and reusing materials, reclaiming them regarding sustainability. Go ahead. Next, and just some of our accomplishments as faculty. Fulbright Fellows, showing at the Cheech in California, residencies at Mass MoCA, all kinds of things. Go ahead and go forward. It's really important as faculty, you know, to be active artists. Our faculty, you know, we expect that of our faculty. And I'll just share some of our facilities with you here. This is our printmaking studio. Go ahead. This is our one of our photography areas. It's both a digital space, and this is our, on the left is our film processing. We have a full range of being able to work with alternative and historic processes that, you know, date to the, you know, the 1800s, the mid 1800s, 1830s. Darkroom, working with film, and as well as digital and hybrid processes. Go ahead. Ceramics, we have ceramics, our kilns. We have, I should mention too, I'm not sure if I touched on this, we have 2 campuses. We have a Brownsville campus and an Edinburgh campus. And I'm sharing with you, these pictures are primarily from Edinburgh, and that is because most of our graduate work is done out of Edinburgh. However, we do offer classes in Brownsville, and we're in the process, hopefully, of realizing some new facilities there, which will be great. Next slide. Okay, you want to go to the next slide for me? Great. We have 3 galleries where graduate students exhibit in their last semester. This is the visual arts gallery in our visual arts building. It's a fairly large space. The Clark Gallery is in the E-Labs on main campus, and then in Brownsville we currently have Rustaburg. Go ahead. Next slide. Artist studios, we do offer our full-time students. We have been able up to this point offer our full-time students a private studio in the visual arts building. We don't guarantee them, but we do, at this point, all students, we have 24 private studios, 24 private studios, and then several shared spaces. And we do offer those to our full-time students. go ahead and next slide, please. So what can you do at UTRGV in our Studio Arts program? Just about anything that you'd like to do. We have fibers, we have a foundry, we have a maker's lab, we have ceramics, painting, drawing, printmaking, photography. The combination of these to be able to work in interdisciplinary ways. Next slide. Highlights for our program, I would mention that our class sizes are relatively small, tend to be a maximum of 10 students. We have many renowned faculty. Many of our faculty do explore borderlands and Latinx themes. We offer bilingual experiences. We are located, in case you're not familiar with the area, we are located in a border community. As grads, you have access to media-specific studios when classes are not in session, and in coordination with the faculty who oversee that space. The Valley offers a lower cost of living than most places in the country. We do have scholarships and assistantships available and the opportunity to work in an interdisciplinary environment. Next slide, please. Grad assistantships, we've mentioned that a few times and you're probably like, what is that? What does that mean? In the School of Art and Design, graduate assistants are a way to help offset your educational expenses. And we have several different types of assistantships. Go ahead, next slide. So it's an opportunity for a graduate student to be mentored. You're essentially paired with a faculty member who will mentor you through your time. What we're really trying to do is to help you gain experience in academia so that, when you do leave here, you have some teaching experience under your belt. Next slide. And so typically the way this works is in your first year, you would work as a graduate assistant. In your second year, you're a graduate teaching assistant, and your third year, you're a graduate student, and you teach, and you're an instructor of record. As a graduate assistant, you can help a professor maintain the studios, maybe help assist students. As a GTA, we're trying to scaffold you, build skills. You might teach a lesson. You might have more hands-on work with students. You might help with grading. And then in your final semester, hopefully you're teaching your own class and you are listed as the instructor. And this really is helpful for you to try to, to take your, when you try to apply for teaching positions when you graduate, this is really helpful. Go ahead. Here's some of those, again, just to reiterate some of the funding. We do have scholarships for research, for travel, for conferences. If you're presenting at a conference or you are having a show at a conference, these are possibilities to have that funded so that you can see that through. Next slide. Kind of some examples of some recent graduate work. This is Hannah Pignon's work. She's going to graduate next fall, and she works. She's been working with reclaiming materials from basically ocean debris, and she's been making small sculptures and jewelry. And this is just one of her recent pieces. Next slide. This is Dulce Perez. She's going to graduate this in December, and she's been working with photographic materials. Her themes have been dealing with the oppression of women. Next slide. Keaton McKeever, she worked in both 2D and 3D. She was working with the reuse, reclaiming of materials like paper, like egg cartons, and realizing them into different forms. Next slide. Painting, this is Kim Sandoval. She graduated in 2024. Go ahead. Next slide. And on the left, John Danielson has graduated. He was pursuing primarily painting. And then Andy Rangel, he's going to graduate next year as well. And he works primarily with ceramics. Go ahead. And so here I am. If you have questions about the degree, if you have questions, you can reach out to me. My email's right there. I'm happy. I may not be able to respond that day, but I do my best to respond pretty quickly. And I think that might be the last slide, almost the last slide.
Yes, that is the last slide. This does bring us to the end of our presentation today. Thank you, Professor Whitman. Thank you, everyone, for joining. As Professor Whitman mentioned, our contact information is on screen. We have our outreach team that is also available to answer any questions, especially if they're general questions about, admissions requirements or the application process, or if you start your application and you get stuck on something. You can call us, you can text us, or you can send us an email to Grad Recruitment. Now, if we need to escalate your question or refer it over to Professor Whitman, we will certainly do that as well. But at this time, yes, go ahead.
We do have a current graduate student with us. Hannah is here. So if anybody had questions for a current graduate student who's nearing the being closer to finishing a degree, we're happy to also answer those questions. Hey, Hannah. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, welcome, Hannah. Yes, so if anyone has any questions, please feel free to send them in and I'll read them out. In the meantime, I don't know, Hannah, if you want to introduce yourself and maybe share a little bit about what is coming up for you in this. You have 1 year left, correct?
Correct. Yes. Sure. Yes. I'll gladly introduce myself. Hello, my name is Hannah Pignon. You saw a little bit of my work in an earlier slide. I'm projected to graduate in fall 26. Yeah. So basically, I'll just say a little bit of starting my first year here. I had come strong and had a lot of ideas. I knew I wanted to do something with the environment, and I thought I could do it all. I wanted to, talk about forest fires and global warming, and I wanted to talk about pollution, and everywhere in the world. I wanted to just tackle everything. But with the help of the faculty and really great guidance, they said, how about we narrow it down? And I was like, okay. And so one of my passions, or one of the things that I feel goes unnoticed, is pollution, and especially in our oceans. And I thought, being or in our region, the Rio Grande Valley, we're so close to South Padre Island. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to take my research there. And it's been very eye-opening, I should say. And just trying to find, or what I've collected, because I collect pollution from the beach, and I try to incorporate it into my my wearable sculpture, my small sculpture, my visual art. And I've seen myself grow each semester, pushing boundaries, because a lot of students come in with a specific background in painting, in drawing, printmaking, ceramics, but they really encourage us to step out of our comfort zone. And so I have a metals background, but now I'm using all of these found objects. I'm incorporating different ways of making jewelry that I haven't done before. Like I said, I'm used to working in metal, and now I'm using resin, I'm using felt, I'm sewing, and it's just been something that's helped me elevate my own art practice, but also create something that better reflects me as an artist, and better reflects the meaning behind my work.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing, Hannah. I think a lot of what you said really resonated. I think especially in a fine art field, right? Sometimes students are kind of on the fence of like, do I need to be in this space? But I think something really powerful and significant that happens is you're in a room with all these different artists, right? And all these different backgrounds and all these different perspectives. And it kind of brings you out of just the way you've done things and your process. You start to pick up little things from your cohort, right? Of the different workshops that you're in or whatever it is. And you start to pick up little things. But I also like what you said about that kind of reining in and that focusing in, which is I think where faculty do come in, and they help you take all of those ideas and say, okay, what can we really, really focus on and become an expert on in these 3 years and change? Because I know, Professor Whitman, you've mentioned this previously, how an MFA is a terminal degree, right? And so you are an expert in whatever your research focus is at the end of your degree. So that's really cool, Hannah. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Thanks, Hannah. All right, well, there aren't any questions.
Yes, I don't see any questions at this moment, but I think I have a question. What would be your recommendation for someone who is maybe feeling intimidated or overwhelmed at the thought of getting, for example, a portfolio together for the application?
Yeah, great idea. I think don't rush it is what I would say. Make very thoughtful decisions. Don't just throw something together last minute. You want to take your time, choose 20, I would say recent work is a great, we want to see what are you doing now? So if you're graduating this semester, we would want to see what between December and your application, did you make anything? Right? Were you still making? Or maybe you took a year off between graduating and your undergrad and now you're applying. Okay, so what did you do in that time? What did you make? We just want to see things labeled clearly, keep it very simple, white or black backgrounds, don't go over design, like a PowerPoint, just keep it simple so that we can focus on your work and try to understand what your interests are. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you so much. I did not do an art program, but I did a similar program, and that was the most intimidating part of trying to, represent myself and my work in the application process. So hopefully, if anyone in the room is feeling similarly, you feel a little bit more confident. And as Professor Whitman said, take your time. You do have time, right? This is a good time frame between now and February, because remember that is, let me go back to that slide. Our deadline is
February 15th.
15th. Okay, perfect. February 15th. So you do have time, but also deadlines are a good thing, right? Having a deadline provides you with that constraint of, you don't have to keep working on this forever. You have between now and February 15th, you can kind of split it up, 20 images. And, if that means creating some work over the winter break, that can be something neat that you can do as well. But thank you all so much for joining. Professor Whitman, is there anything else you'd like to share before we wrap up?
No, I think we covered quite a bit of it. I would say, if you're not, it's better to apply and then make it, like if you're like, oh, I'm not sure, right? I'm not sure.
Right.
Well, I would encourage, since there is no cost associated with it, I would go ahead and apply, because there's there's several months between the application and there's some time elapses between you get your notice whether your application was successful, and then it starts in fall, right? End of August, end of August, and so there's, I'd rather see you apply than not.
Yes, and applying to a graduate program is a good experience. It's good practice. So just think of it that way as well, especially You know, if you're going to be applying for grants or residencies in the future, this is another way to get that practice in of what it's like to apply for different programs.
Right.
But thank you all so much. Thank you, Professor Whitman. Thank you, Hannah, for joining. Let me put our contact information back on screen in case anyone needs to take a screenshot of that. And then we will go ahead and give you back the rest of your evening.
Thanks
But
so much.
yes, thank you all. All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.
Take care.